Hello, and welcome back to English Chill Room. I'm Lily, and I'm so glad you decided to spend some time with me today. Come in, make yourself comfortable, and let's just relax together. Today's episode is a little different. The mood is softer, slower, cozier. Because today I have a postcard from my friend Sophie, and Sophie is about to tell us about a rainy evening at home. Now, I know some people don't like the rain. They think it makes everything gloomy and sad. But I've always loved rainy evenings. There's something about the sound of rain on the window, the gray sky, the feeling of being warm and safe inside, while the world outside is wet and wild. So if you're listening to this on a rainy day, perfect. And if it's sunny where you are, close your eyes for a second and imagine. Imagine the soft patter of raindrops, the smell of wet earth, the sound of distant thunder. Are you there? Good. Let's begin. Sophie writes, Dear Lily, last Thursday was one of those perfect rainy evenings. You know the kind where you cancel all your plans and just stay home. The kind where the whole world seems to slow down. I had been at work all day, and it started drizzling around 4 o'clock. By the time I left the office at 5:30, it was pouring. Not just raining, pouring. The kind of heavy rain that soaks you through in seconds. Let me explain a few rain words here. There's a big difference between drizzling, raining, and pouring. Drizzling is very light rain, like a gentle mist. Raining is normal, standard rain. And pouring, that's heavy, intense rain. We also say it's raining cats and dogs, which is an idiom that means it's raining very heavily. And Sophie used the phrase, soaks you through. That means the rain makes you completely wet, from your skin to your clothes. For example, I forgot my umbrella and got soaked through on the way home. Sophie continues, I ran from the office to the bus stop, holding my bag over my head like an umbrella. By the time the bus came, my shoes were already squelching. Squelching. What a fun word. Squelching is that wet, squishy sound your shoes make when they're full of water. Squelch, squelch, squelch. You can almost hear it, right? She writes, On the bus, the windows were all fogged up. You couldn't see outside at all. Everyone was sitting quietly, listening to the rain drumming on the roof. There was this shared feeling on the bus, like we were all in the same little boat, riding out the storm together. Fogged up means covered with condensation, moisture on the glass. When it's cold outside and warm inside, windows fog up. Your car windshield fogs up in winter. Your glasses fog up when you walk into a warm room from outside. And riding out the storm is a beautiful expression. It means to survive or endure a difficult period. We just have to ride out the storm and things will get better. Originally, it comes from sailing. When a storm comes at sea, sailors can't escape it. They have to stay in the boat and ride it out. Sophie says, I finally got home around 6:15. The first thing I did was kick off my wet shoes at the door. Then I peeled off my damp jacket and hung it in the bathroom to dry. Peeled off. When you peel off clothing, you remove it slowly because it's sticking to you, usually because it's wet. She peeled off her wet swimsuit after the pool. Or, after running in the rain, I peeled off my shirt. It implies the clothing is clinging to your skin. She writes, I changed into the most comfortable clothes I own. My oversized college sweatshirt, those soft flannel pajama pants with little stars on them, and thick wool socks. I looked ridiculous, but I didn't care. Comfort was the only thing that mattered. I love the detail about the flannel pajama pants with little stars on them. That's such a real, specific detail that makes you smile. It makes the story feel personal and honest. Sophie continues. Then I went to the kitchen and put the kettle on. There's something deeply satisfying about the sound of a kettle coming to a boil on a rainy evening. That whistling sound, or the gentle rumble of bubbles. It feels like the house itself is sighing with relief. Put the kettle on means to start heating water for tea or coffee. It's a very British and Australian expression, but Americans understand it too. Come in, sit down. I'll put the kettle on. It's also a symbol of hospitality and warmth. And notice Sophie's description. The house itself is sighing with relief. She's giving the house human qualities. That's called personification in English. The wind whispered through the trees. The sun smiled down on us. The house sighed with relief. It makes writing come alive. She writes, I made chamomile tea. Not my usual green tea, but chamomile, because it felt like a chamomile kind of evening. Soft, warm, gentle. I wrapped both hands around the mug and stood at the kitchen window, watching the rain. I love that phrase, a chamomile kind of evening. It tells you the whole mood without even explaining it. You just know. Some evenings are coffee evenings, fast and energetic. Some are green tea evenings, calm and productive. And some are chamomile evenings, slow and dreamy. Sophie says, the rain was making patterns on the window glass. Little rivers running down, joining together, splitting apart. I could have watched it for hours. There's something hypnotic about rain. Hypnotic means fascinating in a way that holds your attention completely, almost like you're in a trance. The dancer's movements were hypnotic. Or the flickering firelight was hypnotic. Watching rain is definitely hypnotic. Let me do a quick vocabulary check here. We've heard some wonderful words already. Soaked through means completely wet from rain. Fogged up means covered with moisture. Ride out the storm means to endure a difficult period. Peel off means removing wet clothing. Put the kettle on means starting to heat water for tea. And hypnotic means deeply fascinating. 6 phrases so far. Let's continue with Sophie's evening. She writes, I decided to cook. Not order takeout, not heat up leftovers, actually cook. Something warm and comforting. I opened the fridge and saw what I had. Some vegetables, chicken, cream, a few spices. And I thought, soup. Leftovers. This is a very common word. Leftovers are the food remaining from a previous meal. Did you eat the leftovers from last night? Or, there's some pasta left over in the fridge. Almost every household has leftovers at some point. Sophie continues. I started chopping onions, carrots, and celery. The rhythmic sound of the knife on the cutting board was soothing. Chop, chop, chop. I heated olive oil in a big pot, added the vegetables, and let them sizzle. Soothing means calming and comforting. The music was very soothing. Or, she spoke in a soothing voice. Soothing sounds include soft music, ocean waves, and, apparently, the chop, chop, chop of vegetables on a cutting board. She writes, I added the chicken, poured in some broth, and let everything simmer on low heat. Simmer. That's when the liquid bubbles very gently, not a full boil, just tiny little bubbles popping softly at the surface. Let the soup simmer for 20 minutes. While the soup simmered, I added cream and stirred it in slowly. The color changed from golden brown to a creamy pale orange. And the smell. Oh, the smell. The whole apartment smelled like warmth and comfort. I love how Sophie describes cooking. She doesn't just list the steps. She brings in all the senses. The sound of chopping, the sizzle of oil, the color changing, the smell filling the apartment. This is what we call sensory language. It uses your 5 senses to make writing vivid and immersive. Sophie says, while the soup was cooking, I set up my cozy corner. Have you ever heard that term, a cozy corner? It's a spot in your home that you set up specifically for relaxing. Mine is the left end of my couch, with a pile of cushions, a soft throw blanket, and a reading lamp. Throw blanket. That's a small, decorative blanket you drape over a couch or chair. It's not a bed blanket. It's smaller, usually very soft, and perfect for wrapping around yourself while reading or watching TV. She continues, I lit a candle on the coffee table. Just a small one, vanilla-scented. The flickering light made everything feel warm and intimate. I turned off the overhead lights and let the room exist in that golden candlelight glow. Flickering means moving or shining with an unsteady, quick light. A candle flickers. Stars flicker. Old street lights flicker. It creates a sense of gentle movement and life. Sophie writes, "The rain was still coming down hard. I could hear it drumming on the roof and the wind pushing against the windows. But inside, everything was still and warm. It was like being in a cocoon." A cocoon is the silk case a caterpillar makes before it becomes a butterfly. But in everyday English, we use it as a metaphor for a safe, warm, enclosed space. She wrapped herself in blankets like a cocoon. Or, the cabin felt like a cocoon, protecting us from the cold outside. Isn't that such a beautiful image? The rain outside, the warmth inside, and Sophie in her cozy cocoon on the couch. She says, "I picked up my book. I'm reading a novel right now about a woman who moves to a small village in France and opens a bookshop. It's not a complicated book. The plot is simple. But the writing is beautiful. Every sentence feels like a warm cup of tea." Every sentence feels like a warm cup of tea. What a perfect way to describe a book. And this is again what makes good English writing. Instead of saying the book is nice, Sophie says the sentences feel like warm cups of tea. It's specific, it's sensory, it's original. Sophie continues, "I read for about an hour. Sometimes I paused and looked out the window. The street lamp outside cast an orange glow on the wet pavement, and the rain looked like tiny golden threads falling through the light. Cast a glow. Cast means to throw or send out. The sunset cast a pink glow over the ocean. Or, the fire cast long shadows on the walls. It's a very visual, poetic word." She writes, "At about 8 o'clock, the soup was ready. I poured it into a big bowl, added a piece of crusty bread on the side, and carried everything to the couch. Yes, I ate dinner on the couch. Judge me if you want, but rainy evening rules are different from normal rules." Rainy evening rules are different from normal rules. I love that. And honestly, I think most people agree. When it's raining and you're home alone, normal rules don't apply. You can eat on the couch, wear mismatched socks, and watch 3 movies in a row. Let me do another vocabulary check. More great words from Sophie's evening. Leftovers are remaining food from a previous meal. Soothing means calming and comforting. Simmer means cooking with gentle bubbles. Throw blanket is a small decorative blanket for the couch. Flickering is unsteady dancing light. And cocoon is a warm, safe, enclosed space. 12 phrases total now. Let's continue. Sophie writes, "After dinner, I washed my bowl and cleaned up. Then I decided to put on a movie, but not an exciting action movie or a thriller. No, I needed something that matched the mood, something gentle, something cozy." She picked a Studio Ghibli movie, My Neighbor Totoro. She writes, "I've seen it probably 10 times, but it never gets old. There are some movies that feel like comfort food. You don't watch them for the surprise. You watch them because they make you feel safe." Comfort food. Now, originally, this refers to food that makes you feel emotionally better. Food that reminds you of home, of childhood, of simpler times. Mac and cheese is comfort food. Chicken noodle soup is comfort food. Warm chocolate chip cookies are comfort food. But Sophie extends the idea to movies. A comfort movie. Something you've seen many times but keep coming back to because it makes you feel warm and happy. What's your comfort movie? Think about it. And she said it never gets old. This means it stays enjoyable no matter how many times you experience it. This song never gets old. I can listen to it 100 times. Or, your jokes never get old. They always make me laugh. Sophie continues. Halfway through the movie, the rain stopped, just like that. The drumming on the roof faded away, and everything went quiet. I paused the movie and listened. The silence after rain is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world. The silence after rain. I think Sophie is right. When heavy rain suddenly stops, there's this incredible stillness. You can hear individual drops falling from the trees, the last trickle of water in the gutters. It's like the world is catching its breath. There's actually a word for the smell of rain on dry earth. Petrichor. It's a lovely word. Petrichor. The smell is earthy, fresh, and clean. Have you ever noticed it? That unique scent right after rain? That's petrichor. Sophie writes, I opened my window, just a little, and let the night air come in. It was cool and fresh and smelled like wet leaves. A light fog was starting to form in the garden. The whole world looked soft, like a watercolor painting. Like a watercolor painting. What a perfect simile. Watercolor paintings have this soft, blurry, dreamlike quality, and that's exactly how the world looks on a foggy evening after rain. She says, I finished the movie, made one last cup of tea, and got into bed. My sheets were cool, but in a nice way. I pulled the blankets up to my chin and just lay there, listening. A car passing slowly on the wet street. An owl somewhere in the trees. The last raindrops tapping on the windowsill. The word tapping means making soft, repeated knocking sounds. Someone was tapping on the door. Or I heard rain tapping on the window. It's softer than knocking, more gentle. Tap, tap, tap. Sophie finishes her letter like this. Lily, I think rainy evenings are gifts. They're the universe telling you to slow down, stay in, and take care of yourself. No plans, no obligations, no noise. Just warmth, comfort, and the beautiful sound of rain. What a lovely way to end her postcard. Rainy evenings are gifts. And I think Sophie is right. In our busy, fast-paced lives, sometimes we need the rain to give us permission to stop. You know, this reminds me of something. In some cultures, there are special words for the comfort you feel on a rainy day. In Danish, there's hygge, that cozy, warm, candlelit feeling. In Japanese, there's kogarashi, the cold wind that lets you know winter is coming. And in English, we might say cozy or snug. Snug means warm, comfortable, and tightly sheltered. The children were snug in their beds. Or, this cafe is small but very snug. It's similar to cozy, but implies more of an enclosed, protected feeling. I think the idea of finding beauty and comfort in bad weather is really important, because it's a metaphor for life, isn't it? We can't always have sunny days. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes it storms. But even in the rain, there's beauty. There's warmth. There's opportunity to slow down. And honestly, some of my best memories are rainy ones. Reading a book in bed while rain hammered against the window. Sharing an umbrella with a friend and laughing because we were both getting wet anyway. Sitting in a cafe, watching people run past. Rain creates its own kind of magic. Let me share a few more words related to rain and weather that are useful in everyday English. Downpour, a sudden heavy rainfall. We got caught in a downpour, or the downpour lasted about 20 minutes, then the sun came out. It's more sudden and intense than just raining heavily. Overcast. When the sky is completely covered with clouds, we say it's overcast. The sky was overcast all day. Or, it looks overcast. I think it might rain later. It doesn't mean it's raining yet, just that the clouds are covering everything. Clearing up. When the weather starts getting better, we say it's clearing up. The rain has stopped, and it looks like it's clearing up. Or, the forecast says it will clear up by afternoon. It implies the clouds are moving away, and sunlight is returning. And under the weather. This is an idiom that means feeling slightly sick or unwell. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. Or, she was under the weather last week, so she stayed home. Interestingly, it doesn't actually refer to the weather outside. It's about your health. All right, now it's time for our complete vocabulary tour. Get ready. Today we have 20 expressions. For each one, I'll give you the meaning and 2 examples. Number 1. Soaked through, completely wet from rain. Example, I walked home without an umbrella and got completely soaked through. Example 2. His jacket was soaked through after the storm. Number 2. Fogged up, covered with condensation. Example, My glasses fogged up the moment I walked into the warm restaurant. Example 2. The bathroom mirror always fogs up after a hot shower. Number 3. Ride out the storm. To endure a difficult period. Example. The company is losing money, but we'll ride out the storm. Example 2. Just ride out the storm. Things will improve soon. Number 4. Peel off. To remove wet or tight clothing. Example. She peeled off her wet socks and put them by the heater. Example 2. After the marathon, he peeled off his running shirt. Number 5. Put the kettle on. To start heating water for tea or coffee. Example. Sit down. I'll put the kettle on and we can chat. Example 2. It's cold outside. Let me put the kettle on. Number 6. Hypnotic. Deeply fascinating, holding your attention. Example. The sunset was absolutely hypnotic. We watched it for an hour. Example 2. The rhythm of the waves is so hypnotic. Number 7. Leftovers. Remaining food from a previous meal. Example. I had last night's pizza leftovers for lunch. Example 2. There are some leftovers in the fridge if you're hungry. Number 8. Soothing. Calming and comforting. Example. She played some soothing music to help the baby fall asleep. Example 2. The warm bath was incredibly soothing after a long hike. Number 9. Simmer. To cook with gentle, low bubbles. Example. Let the sauce simmer for 15 minutes until it thickens. Example 2. The stew has been simmering all afternoon. Number 10. Throw blanket. A small decorative blanket for the couch. Example. She curled up under a throw blanket and watched the movie. Example 2. I bought a new throw blanket for the living room. Number 11. Flickering. Unsteady dancing light. Example. The flickering candles created a romantic atmosphere. Example 2. The old lamp was flickering. I think it needs a new bulb. Number 12. Cocoon. A warm, safe, enclosed space. Example. She wrapped herself in blankets like a cocoon. Example 2. On cold days, my bed becomes my cocoon. Number 13. Comfort food. Food that makes you feel emotionally better. Example. After a bad day, I always crave comfort food like mac and cheese. Example 2. Grandma's chicken soup is the ultimate comfort food. Number 14. Never gets old. Stays enjoyable no matter how many times you experience it. Example. This movie never gets old. I watch it every year. Example 2. Walks on the beach never get old. Number 15. Tapping. Making soft, repeated knocking sounds. Example. I heard tapping on the window. It was just a tree branch. Example 2. He sat tapping his fingers on the desk nervously. Number 16. Snug. Warm, comfortable, and sheltered. Example. The cabin was small but snug and warm. Example 2. I felt snug under 3 blankets on a cold night. Number 17. Downpour. A sudden, heavy rainfall. Example. We got caught in a downpour and had to wait under a bridge. Example 2. The downpour flooded some streets downtown. Number 18. Overcast. Sky completely covered with clouds. Example. It's been overcast all week. I miss the sunshine. Example 2. The forecast says it will be overcast, but no rain. Number 19. Clearing up. Weather starting to improve. Example. Don't worry, it looks like it's clearing up now. Example 2. The storm passed and the skies are finally clearing up. And number 20. Under the weather. Feeling slightly sick or unwell. Example. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. I think I'll stay home. Example 2. He was under the weather all weekend with a cold. 20 beautiful rain-themed expressions. I hope you enjoyed learning them as much as I enjoyed sharing them. Remember, you can come back and listen again anytime to review. Now, here's your challenge. I want you to describe a rainy day memory. It can be a time you got caught in the rain, a cozy evening at home, or anything connected to rain. Write it in the comments. Try to use at least 3 expressions from today. Here's the starter. Last time it rained, I blank. The weather was blank. I felt blank. My go-to rainy day activity is blank. It was soothing because blank. I can't wait to read your rainy day stories. I love hearing about your lives and where you listen from. It makes me feel like we're all connected, no matter the distance or the weather. Thank you so much for spending this rainy evening with me. I hope you feel warm, relaxed, and a little more confident in your English. Remember, every episode you listen to is building your skills, even when it doesn't feel like it. In our next episode, we're heading to a coffee shop, a cozy little place on a quiet street. My friend has a wonderful story to tell. You won't want to miss it. If you like this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend. And if someone is having a hard day, send them this episode. Sometimes all you need is a soft voice and the sound of rain. This is English Chill Room. I'm Lily. Stay warm, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.